Hey y'all, it's Lauren, and we are going to talk our mid year check in, all things bookish. So, I had a goal of 12 books for the year, and we have surpassed that. We have read 58 books this year, and a couple of those are new to me authors. I have not had the chance to get into the authors that I really wanted to get into last year, so I'm definitely prioritizing that this year. And a couple of those authors are Gray Huffington, Lady Nisha, and Bella J. I finally have gotten my hands on some of their catalog, and it has been a great, great ride. Um, as far as my 58 books I've read, most of this have actually been series. I read the Red Rising trilogy. I am not going to read the rest of that book series. I'm so sorry, but I am not. The trilogy, fantastic. Honestly, this was the first sci fi trilogy I've read this year. Another series that is part of the large collection that I've read this year is the Crenshaw King series. I talked about the series. I gave like a little coupling rankings on this, and that was phenomenal in its own right as well. Another series that I'm actively reading is the Dillinger Chronicles, and that is by Kimberly Brown. Y'all, I'm still reading this series because I thoroughly enjoy the narrators, so I'm purposely waiting for the audiobooks. I have not read Steel and I have not read Mia yet. So those are the two that I'm waiting for. But the rest of the series, getting Maceo, Deuce, Smoke, and Jada, oh, all of those were Chef's Kiss. I want to say of the brothers thus far, I really enjoyed Smoke's story the most. Yeah, that he's Big Daddy Smoke for me. And obviously, Jada's story within her own right, was by far one of the is definitely one of the smallest books in the series, but I felt had the most impact because this was a friends to lovers. Jada is a gamer, she's a reader, she is a lover of anime, and she is a computer geek. I love that about her. Her and Quaid were a match made in heaven. I'm telling you. Miss Kimberly Brown did her big one when it came to Jada. Okay? Another series that I read this year was the Eisenberg series by Gray Huffington. This was fantastic. I will not be missing another book by her. Her pen, beautiful. Like the way that she writes men, the way that she writes her female characters, it is just chef's kiss. Out of the Eisenberg series, favorite um my favorite book definitely would have to be Lyric's book, even though she made me upset. Okay, Lyric pissed me clean off. But Keanu really saved the day for her story because he was not playing. He was all gas, no brakes with it, okay? And I really enjoyed that about her book. So she was definitely a favorite of the Eisenberg series. Some other books that I really enjoyed on this list was Only for Tonight by Kimmy Farrell. Oh my gosh, that was one of the best novellas I've read this year. It was short, sweet to the point, and I really enjoyed the age gap. It's in like I wouldn't even consider this a crazy age gap. Like he was 27 and she was maybe about 42. Yeah. This that was a man who knew what he wanted, and he don't do relationships. He said that. But he was just he in the one night that they shared together, he knew he had to make her his wife. And I love that. That to me was insta love. And oh, Kimmy wrote the hell out of that damn novella. Another standalone that I really enjoyed was Losing Control by Lady Nisha. I had that book on my TBR for years. This is kind of going to pivot a little bit, but I was accepted into Podium's influencer program, And that book was part of one of their audiobooks that they released. And I was just like, oh, yes, I want to read this. And when I tell y'all, Caesar is one of the most funniest motherfuckers I've ever read. I had not been belly laughing like that in so long. That book was so funny. I had no business being that motherfucker funny, but it was so good. I enjoyed how we got the healing aspect of Marley and of Caesar. Like, he was like, I just want to be your best friend. Isn't that how niggas usually is before they like to get in your panties? I really enjoyed Losing Control. Like, that book was just too good. Another book that I really enjoyed this year was 1201 by Bella J. This was a great enemies to lovers. I actually started to try and read this book back at the end of 2024, and I just did not have the capacity for it. And I'm glad I held off. I'm just glad I held off. I read that book in less than 24 hours. I was still on maternity leave at the top of the year, so that was fantastic. Absolutely. The enemies to lovers and the way that she got her get back, yeah, especially with the brother. Yeah, I like that. And it had some plot twists in it that I was just like, oh, excuse me, would we have actually gone through this? I'm gonna leave y'all to read that. But that was such a good book. So I'm gonna wrap my books that I've read this year thus far, and we're gonna move on to our bookish events. I attended Chocolate City Lit Fest, Black Romance Book Fest. I've seen Kennedy Ryan for her release for Score. I've seen Natasha Bishop for her release of The Art of Loving You, and I've seen Christina Forrest for her release, The Summer Girlfriend. We was outside. Okay, this first part of the year we was outside. All those events were so good. When I say we was outside this first half of the year, baby, we was outside. I thoroughly enjoyed all the other talks that I've been to, but Kennedy Ryan's was so special because she came to DC on her pub day. I have not been to an author talk where the author comes on their pub day. We had the chance to sing happy birthday to Score. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And shout out to Mahogany Books because they always throw such great events. But this was by far one of the best events that I've been to that they've hosted as far as author talks go. Mahogany Books usually host author talks in public libraries in the DMV area, but they hosted this at the Lincoln Theater because they just knew that this was going to be packed out. I mean, it was Kennedy freaking Ryan. Okay? They did such a great job. I can't describe to you the atmosphere that was in that room. Oh, it was beyond beautiful. And seeing some of the bookish girlies and seeing one of my book friends who came all the way from Buffalo to come hang out with us. Like, and I met her for the first time ever. Like, it was so surreal to be able to experience the pub day with Kennedy Ryan like that. And then Natasha Bishop's second published traditional book. And then, like I said, I saw Natasha Bishop and Christina Forrest. So, what I love about these two, you can tell that they are really good friends. Natasha Bishop had Christina Forrest host her author talk, and Christina Forrest had Natasha Bishop host her author talk. So they were a tag team duo this whole summer, and seeing them both in a space supporting one another and being there for one another was just truly beautiful. I saw Natasha Bishop in Baltimore, and then Christina Forrest came to DC for her release. Christina Forrest had a custom drink menu for the Summer Girlfriend. They are doing things I have never seen before, And I'm just here for it. Like, to have a custom drink menu with the release of your book for author talk, oh, it was fantastic. And then Chocolate City Lit Fest. So with Chocolate City Lit Fest, I posted on Threads about how I had no pre-orders for Chocolate City Lit Fest and Black Romance Book Fest. And when I tell you the community showed up and showed out, I walked out of Chocolate City Lit Fest with a nice little stack of books, and it wasn't even just about the books, it was about the sisterhood this community bought. I walked out of there grateful for knowing that like I was in great hands, and meeting some of you all in person was just a cherry on top. Seeing the fullness of your hearts and the gratitude that I had, there is no words. There are truly no words for the gratitude that I felt going to Chocolate City Lit Fest and going to Black Romance Book Fest. Now, with Black Romance Book Fest, this was my second year. This was my second year attending as an attendee. And I had such a great time this year. They stepped their game up from year one to year two. And it's not to say that year one wasn't good, year one was phenomenal. So it's just like, I didn't know what to expect for year two. All the announcements that they were dropping, all the authors that they were dropping, all the artists that came through. The R&B kickback had Jay Holiday and Pleasure P. Okay? Then I couldn't go to Bookchella. I had my husband go. He said Lloyd bought out Carrie Hilson. I missed that, but it's okay. I had to take care of the baby. He was a little sick, so it's okay. I got my money's worth though. Black Romance Book Fest was always a great time. I cannot wait to go next year. Those are the book events that I've attended thus far this year. And I don't know what's on the back half of 2026, but I'm very excited. So those were my book events. And a bookish one that happened this year was that I was accepted into Podium's influencer program, like I said earlier. And I love Podium Entertainment. Every time I go on Hoopla, that is the one brand that I'm going to look for. I'm going to look and see what Black authors audiobooks that they dropped, because they come with the heat every single time. They don't miss. So this was our mid-year check-in, all things bookish, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Please comment down below and let me know what were your bookish wins, your bookish goals. What is your reading goal? Have you achieved that yet? Let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.